Here are 4 common mistakes I see newer wholesalers or people aspiring to be in the wholesale space make. Okay. Number 1, they think that they should be giving their earnest deposit directly to the seller, sending him an e-transfer. We don't want to do that. 2, waiting too long to get into the space. I've spoken to people 3-4 years ago who've spoken about wanting to wholesale, wanting to get into real estate, and they're still on the sidelines, waiting too long, okay? Then there's number 3, where people get stuck in analysis paralysis. So just constantly learning. And I mean, at some point we have to apply what we've learned, okay? We can only learn ourselves so much before it becomes application, action, doing the things that are going to yield the results. And then there's folks who aren't aware that you actually need to have a assignment clause in that agreement. That is key. Okay, so top mistakes I'm seeing is wholesalers is they think that the seller should be getting their deposit directly. They wait too long to get in the space. Number 3, analysis paralysis is just getting them. And number 4, they aren't aware that you must have an assignment clause in your agreement of purchase and sale. That is a no-brainer. Do not get caught slipping without having that in there. Okay, so I'm gonna now dig into these things a bit more with you. So giving the seller the deposit directly, why is that a bad idea? Well, what if the seller says, you know, the deposit to tie up this property or to get this property under contract is $5,000. And now you go ahead and send Mr. Seller $5,000, okay? Don't worry, it won't be $5,000. In my course, we are teaching you ways to strategically be able to stretch your deposit funds and do it in a way that doesn't require $5,000 up front. But this is the example that we're going with today. If you give the seller $5,000 and you send that by e-transfer via wire and the deal doesn't work out, you know, whether during your due diligence, you found some things the seller omitted and the seller's not willing to flex on the price at all. And maybe you're deciding to walk away. Maybe the deal wasn't assigned. There could be a number of reasons, but the bottom line is this deal is not going to the finish line and you should be able to get your earnest deposit back. That is how it works. You place a deposit and you get it back. That is why it is not called a payment and it is called a deposit. But if you give that to the seller, now it is up to the seller to go to the bank or go into his banking app and make sure he sends that money back to you. I don't know about you, but I don't know Mr. Seller from a hole in the wall, and I'm not about to send him my hard-earned cash and hope that he sends that back in the event that this deal doesn't work out. You're giving the seller too much power, and please don't do that. Because if they change their number, block your number, anything of the sort, then that's it. And you might be thinking, well, Thea, I know where he lives. I was about to purchase his property. That could be a rental property, right? And he might not be living there. And even though that is his property that he owns, is that the headache you want to go through in order to get these funds back? Or are we in the business of mitigating our risk? I know I am. Mitigating our risk and, you know, not putting ourselves in that position to begin with, right? I would go with the latter. Let's not and say we did. Let's go ahead and place our deposit with our lawyer. That is where it goes, either in your lawyer's trust, which I prefer in my lawyer's trust, or it goes in your seller, in the seller's lawyer's trust. But it never goes directly from your hand to the seller's hands. That is for sure and always, okay? I don't want you guys to get taken for a ride and, you know, have your money stolen or some unfortunate situation happen when this could be avoided. And that's why you're here, okay? Have folks who are just waiting too long to get started. You know, they go to the sidelines saying, yeah, I'm going to join, or yeah, I'm going to get into real estate. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to do all the things. You know, this year is my year. I'm going to assign or buy however many properties, and they never actually do it. They just take so long to make their decision. And the decision really is no decision, right? I mean, years go by and their decision is still no decision. So stop standing on the sidelines and get in the space. And sometimes there's no assignment clause. That's another mistake folks make. Not putting an assignment agreement or an assignment clause in your agreement of purchase and sale. You cannot assign a property without having that clause in there. So if you have a deal under contract right now, you're looking to assign it and you're like, oh shoot, Thea, I don't have that clause in there. Go back to the seller, get an amendment done, and get that assignment agreement in there. I don't want you to get sued. I don't want you to have any unfortunate situations, which again, could be mitigated, could be avoided. And again, that's why you're here. So assignment clause is a must in your agreement of purchase and sale. And then lastly, we have the analysis paralysis folks, the people who learn and on YouTube University, and they're at this boot camp, at that real estate meetup, at this educational platform, on this webinar, right? You're just educating yourself to death. If there is a such thing, at some point we need to pull the trigger and start applying all of the things that we've learned. It's great that you're pro education and you're pro learning, but I need you to now be pro go get it, pro application, pro action, period. Okay, we can only learn so much and it doesn't mean anything if we don't actually apply it. What we're doing is learning all the theory in the world, but what the theory can't prepare you for, and this is some of the realest stuff you're gonna hear, what it can't prepare you for are for those situations that just kind of pop up on a whim and you're like, oh shoot, in the 3 years that I've been on YouTube University or the 55 boot camps and 75 webinars I attended, never once did they speak of this particular scenario. And I'll tell you why. That's not gonna happen because you can't learn every single scenario and situation that could possibly happen under the sun, right? It's not logical, it's not plausible. That's not what's gonna happen. But the moment you start putting in the work and applying yourself and taking action, you're gonna start coming across scenarios that you didn't even know could happen, right? And once they do happen, then you can refer to a coach, a mentor, and navigate those challenges or this unique situation together. And I'm gonna throw in another one for you and make it 5. The next big mistake I see a lot of beginner wholesalers and newbies get into this space, the mistakes that they're making is the fact that they don't want or they're not getting a coach or a mentor. And that blows me. It really throws me because if you're so passionate and they speak with so much conviction, why not reach up? Why not reach out to someone who's doing what you're doing and get the coaching and the mentorship to cut all these mistakes in half, right? I've spent over $30,000 on personal development in my education, just learning, right? I didn't just go out and start buying multifamily buildings. I went and got a coach and learned how to do it correctly, right? Same thing with the wholesaling. I went and paid to learn how to do the things. Granted, it wasn't, a hand-holding service or program like Off Market for Wealth that I have. It was really just a couple of videos to get me started. But at least I went and was seeking the information. And once I got to step A, B, and C and didn't know D, I felt enough confidence at that point to reach up and reach out to my network that I was a part of and start navigating some of these challenges that, weren't in the training videos. Because again, every situation can't and won't be in there. It takes you to actually apply these things and get into the space and start going through the reps and the motions of it. And then you're going to come across the unique situations and challenges that you will now learn how to pivot. And the next time you come across that challenge or situation, it's not new for you, right? You're just gonna go back into that tool belt and be like, yep, I remember I had this scenario and this is how we got over that challenge. So I said I was gonna give you 4 top mistakes that wholesalers are making today and historically that I've seen. But I went ahead and threw in that extra one in there for you. Mentorship. If you're looking to get into a space and want to learn how to do it properly, and if that space happens to be wholesaling or real estate, reach out to me, your girl, Thea Vellon, the wholesale queen, here to help you, genuinely help you get to the next level, help you accomplish your goals. I know how important and impactful it was for me to meet people along my journey who were willing to spend the time to reach up. And I mean, you can ask about me. This is something I'm passionate about. I have helped so many people get started in this space, get their first deal done, and literally create and build businesses based on the education that I've provided them. And there's no monetary value that you can put on that for me. That is priceless, and that is what I do it for. So signing off, wholesale queen. Those are the top mistakes that are being made today. Now that I've given them to you, you shouldn't be making those mistakes any longer. And if you haven't got started, one of those was, people not starting soon enough. So get in there, start taking action. And if you need help, reach out to me, Thea Vellon.